5 Minutes Funnier is back. Hi, and welcome to 5 Minutes Funnier, the comedy how-to. I'm your host, Jimmy England, with another episode here to inspire you to be funnier. And I'm not going to do the inspiring. I'm going to let somebody else do it this week. I'm just going to tell you about her. Now, there is a myth out there that women are not as funny as men. That somehow, people like a Joan Rivers or Phyllis Diller or whoever you care to name is just in the exception to the rule. Women generally are not funny as men. This isn't true at all. Let's scotch that right now. There's a lot of incredibly funny women out there who are much funnier than men. And I want to bring to your attention somebody I have a great deal of respect for because I think she writes some really great material. It's a very relatable material. And as a result, she has become a star in Britain. She's touring actually this summer and in the fall. I'm in Hamilton, Ontario in Canada. She's going to be here at Hamilton Place. I think it's September 25th. If you're anybody in the Hamilton area, you really should go to see her. Part of the beauty of Sarah Millican is she does not look like a comedian. She looks like a Sunday school teacher, somebody else's wife. And to some degree, that enhances what she does because she will cross that line and she'll be raunchy, but she doesn't do it just to be raunchy. She's somebody who understands using an F-bomb in the correct way will enhance what you're saying and make the laugh bigger. But more than that, she's just wonderfully creative. And I'm going to put a link down below to one of her YouTube concerts that she recorded. And you go in there and you listen to it. And when you think you're getting to the punchline, stop for a minute, figure out what the punchline is going to be, then play it. And I'll bet you 99 times out of 100, she will surprise you with the punchline. In 2004, her husband walked out on her and she ended up joining a writing group. To some degree, I'm sure, working out what had just happened, talking about her divorce. And she did it in a way that was so funny that 4 years later, in 2008, she was in Edinburgh at the Fringe Festival and was the Newcomer Comic of the Year. By 2013, a scant 9 years later, there's a TV program on BBC called Woman's Hour, and they assessed her as one of the 100 most powerful women in the UK. Now, I actually got introduced to her on the panel show QI. Very funny. A lot of comedians. Highly recommend it. I think you'll enjoy that one. And I saw her on other things as well. And she was just so innocently brilliant in those shows that I thought, well, I'd like to see her as a stand-up comedian. And she came to Toronto a few years ago, and I went to that particular that show. Well, let's start off with the audience. The audience was probably 75% female, 25% male. And it didn't matter in the end what they were. We all laughed because she was absolutely terrific. She's very good at crowd work. It's always included when she does a live show, even in a big theater. She manages to make it much more intimate. It's like we are with her in her kitchen sitting at her table. She's very good that way. It's an interesting thing, too. I've never seen her take the microphone off the mic stand. Now, sometimes that can be an impediment, having that mic between you and the audience, but you don't feel that way when it's her. But the thing that jumps out at me is the writing. It doesn't mean a joke has to be incredibly, incredibly clever, but she does do stuff that's incredibly relatable, especially if you're a woman, but not exclusively for a woman. This is why I think even if you're a man, you should go watch her. She is really something. I don't want to sound like I'm going totally overboard about her, but it's very hard for me not to because I do respect her an awful lot. And if you're lucky enough, she's touring this summer, I believe, in the United States. I know she's in Toronto about the middle of September. I think she's doing 3 or 4 shows there, which ought to tell you something about her popularity in Canada. If you are able to see her in your area, yeah, it's going to cost you a couple $100 or so, but she's definitely worth the money. I'd love to hear from you if you do have seen her or you do see her. She's really, really good. That's it for 5 Minutes Funnier. I'm your host, Jimmy England. As always, please subscribe to the podcast, share us with your friends, and give us a like. That really helps us reach more comedians. And if you feel you're not learning anything from me, take a look at the video that I'm putting down below, posting for you, and watch Sarah Millican on YouTube and see if you don't get converted. Stay funny, everybody.